It has been over 3 years since I last ranked all of the seasons of Archer. Since then, 3 more seasons have been released. Over the last 9 months I've re-ranked the episodes of all 11 seasons and I have ranked the episodes of the newest season, season 12. This means I've been able to re-evaluate my ranking, which also means that my ranking now might be different from 3 years ago. And probably in 3 years from now my ranking will be different again. It's crazy that there are already 12 seasons of Archer, and if the quality remains intact I hope we get many more seasons. Now with that being said, it is time to start with what I consider to be the worst season of Archer. Ever since the season was released, I always considered it the worst of the show. But after having rewatched it a couple more times, I've gone to appreciate the season for what it is. Also because now Archer is finally out of his coma, and when this season was released, I was just done with all of the coma seasons. Still, I feel like there are no real standout episodes, and there are also barely any funny moments this season. And in this season, Ray is criminally underutilized, which unfortunately continued in the subsequent seasons. Lastly, I have to mention that I personally don't find the space setting all that fitting for the Archer crew, which made me less enthusiastic about the whole concept. All of this combined is why it is the worst season of Archer in my opinion. Now in regards to season 9, the opposite is true. In this case I liked season 9 less upon rewatching. Of course I never considered it to be a masterpiece, but the first few episodes didn't grab me enough and made the story feel slow and as a result a bit boring to sit through. Though I do love the dynamic of Pam, Archer and Krieger as the bird crackers, and Cyril is great as the German villain. While the roles for the other characters are fitting, this unfortunately doesn't result in anything that funny or noteworthy. And the same is true for the episodes, with this season again lacking any outstanding or memorable episodes, and as a result I have a hard time telling the episodes apart and what event is happening in which episode. This probably also has to do with the fact that the entire season takes place on a single island in the jungle. I wouldn't consider this a bad season, but it certainly leaves much to be desired. Even though I find season 8 less funny compared to season 9, it is much better in 2 aspects, the story and the setting. I find this setting much more fitting for Archer, and the creators established this setting perfectly as you slowly get familiar with Archer and the other characters in their new worlds. The World War II flashbacks are a great addition that further adds to this philosophy. Throughout the entire season I remained interested in the story and wanted to keep watching to see how things would unfold. I don't want to repeat myself, but again, this season lacks outstanding episodes, making it less appealing to rewatch this season compared to seasons higher on this list. Seeing season 11 was a relief, as we were finally done with the coma seasons. Don't get me wrong, I liked the idea of those seasons, but 3 in a row was a bit of an overkill in my opinion. Though after seeing it 3 times, I've got to say that season 11 is not that much better. Except for Best Friends and Blood Sploosh, none of the episodes stood out and were just okay. While it was interesting to see how the agency operated while Archer was in a coma, this also means that the first few episodes were filled with more awkward rather than hilarious moments. This season didn't do anything horribly wrong, but it also didn't do anything outstanding, which is why this season ends up at the number 9 spot. The most recent season is already much better than season 11, and watching these episodes made me feel like I was watching the episodes of older seasons like season 1 through 7. The episodes were much more enjoyable to sit through as everybody felt like their old selves again. This season ends with Mallory saying goodbye, which is a touching ending, and the creators handled this very well. Despite all the praises, I can't put this above the 8th spot, as there are still fewer hilarious moments compared to seasons higher on this list, and because episodes like Photo Op lacked some originality. In season 7 the gang is now working as detectives under the Figgis agency, and in my opinion this is the last season where there still is that Archer magic that was only recently recaptured in season 12. While there is an overarching story throughout this season, most episodes stand on their own. This season has one of the most impactful moments of the show, when at the end we discover that Archer is lying motionless in the pool, which would mark the beginning of the coma seasons. With Deadly Prep we also got to know more about Archer, which was greatly appreciated, though there are also some episodes where there isn't a whole lot happening, making them less enjoyable on subsequent viewings, making for a great but not perfect season. Season 5 is the first season where we follow a story that starts in the first episode and ends at the last episode. And since the agency needs to work together in order to sell some cocaine, this gives everybody time to shine, which results in a lot of great and memorable moments. At the same time, I feel like while the ending is great with Lana giving birth to AJ, it still doesn't really live up to the expectations I had after watching the first episode. And episodes 10 to 12 are also just okay, as there wasn't that much happening that was as great compared to the best episodes of this season. But putting those issues aside, this is still an amazing season. While season 6 has some underwhelming episodes, with A-Group, Immorphilot and Edie's wedding being my least favorite, there are also lots of great episodes like The Holdout and 3 to Tango. But without a doubt the best episode of this season is Vision Quest, which is so entertaining to watch, and it's impressive that this episode takes place almost entirely in an elevator. And with Archer and the gang being trapped in the elevator, this gives us so many hilarious moments. I've watched this episode countless times and I still can't get enough. But what the season also needs is consistency, and that is also where this season delivers, never dipping below a certain quality, and all episodes are definitely enjoyable for a first time viewing. Now from number 4 onward it was really difficult to decide the order. In the end I decided to give this spot to season 3. Around the time that this season aired, the creators knew how to create the Archer magic we know and love, giving us some unforgettable moments, with one where the gang has to hide the body, or one where Archer can fanboy over Burt Reynolds. And Rip Riley is a great new addition, who we sadly don't see anymore after the 3rd episode. So if there is so much to love, why didn't I put this at the number 1 spot? Well, because the remaining 3 seasons have more standout episodes. It's incredible that the creators were able to make a first season that is still among the best seasons of the entire show. Every episode is memorable, and this season starts so many running gags that remain hilarious in future seasons. Still, because it's the first season, not every joke or setup hits the landing, and these will be dropped in later seasons. While the season has more standout episodes compared to season 3, there are still a few underwhelming ones like Dial M for Mother and Job Offer. But the positives far outweigh the negatives, making for an incredible first season. Over 3 years ago, season 4 claimed the number 1 spot, but since then I've gotten to appreciate another season just a bit more. I still really love this season, with The Wind Cries Mary and Legs being among my favorite episodes of the show, but there are a few episodes that miss the mark and are just average at best, most noticeably Vicious Coupling, which becomes worse the more you watch it. So while there are certainly some lows, they are easily overshadowed by all of the highs, giving us a very memorable and entertaining season. And at number 1 is the 2nd season. Every episode is amazing and there are just so many hilarious moments throughout the season that remain funny even if you've already watched them 5 or more times. Without a doubt, the standout episode of not just this season but the entire show is Placebo Effect. This episode is amazing, and even my least favorite episodes like Baby Shower still have hilarious moments that make it worth a 2nd or 3rd viewing. Whatever the creators did, something just clicked, which made for a nearly flawless season that remains as funny as the first time I watched it. So that was my ranking of all 12 seasons of Archer. Do you agree with my ranking or do you have a totally different list? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you for watching, bye bye.